So let's go to build workshop, and under wood we can do, is it woodcutter, a chair, and a chisel, which I can't do the chisel until I get the stone stuff. So let's go to the stoneworks. Stone, we need I think it's a stone mason. Requires a chisel also. Can I make a chisel with these? Oh, I can. Okay, so let's go workshop, wood. We'll do a carpenter, which requires a workbench, a chair, and a chisel. And then we'll just put it doesn't really matter. Like I say, we're just trying to get them going. So we'll put it right there. Let's set some guys to grab all this junk off the ground to forage. See these? There we go. Let's go to build, workshop, wood. I don't think I need a wood carver yet. I think that's just to make statues and junk. Yeah, trinkets and statues. We don't need that yet. We need a carpenter, a sawmill. We can't make the sawmill without stone. So I need a stone mason, a stone cutter, chair, chisel, workbench, build. Now I'm right-clicking anywhere to bring this menu up. You can use this menu down here also. They both work exactly the same. I can go to build, workshop, except this one will bring up the workshop menu where I can say, all right, I need a sawmill. Well, to make a sawmill, I need a saw blade. The only way to make a saw blade is to make it with a stonemason. So I need a stonemason first. But in order to, I'm going to need a stone cutter too. So we're going to make a stone cutter. And then we need to build. And then that's it for right now. So if we watch down here, they'll start popping out chairs. There's a table. And if I pause the game and look, you'll see it's chair for build jobs been sent to that workstation. Nothing to this one. Workbenches, 2 workbenches have been sent to that one. And then nothing to this one. So you just kind of let it go. It'll do, now you can customize that. You really can. Like I can go to this and I can go to overview. I can set the priority of this workstation. I can assign an individual to work that one and he's the only one that will be allowed. I can suspend it to make it not do anything. It basically becomes unfunctional. And then I can uncheck accept generated jobs. If I uncheck that, anything else that I tell to build something, it won't, that workstation will not accept a command to make something for me, to make, you know, subordinate parts, the lower parts. So like for the chair, if I look to build, if I go in here and look at a chair, for a chair I need any 4 planks. If I don't have planks and I decide to build a chair, one of the stations will be assigned to make 4 planks if I have no planks. Or multiple stations even sometimes. So they'll make the planks for you, and then once the planks are done, the guy that, you know, whichever station you told to make the chair, whoever gets assigned to that station to make the chair will go grab the four planks that were made by the other guys, or even himself, whoever from the other stations. He'll bring them back and then he'll make the chair for you, which is like you saw me lay here. I laid down my tables, or my workstations, carpentry, mason, and then the stone cutter. I did not go in and individually make chairs and tables and all that other stuff, and you can, because there are multiple different, like 4 different types of wood. There's birch, there's another kind which I can't remember the name, a birch, pine, apple, and orange. And apple's got like a reddish hue to it, orange has got like a little bit of a lighter brown, pine is like a regular brown, and then the birch is a whitish brown, or a tan, or well, a beige, more of a beige colored wood. And everything that you build, like with these workstations, right here you see there's a table, there's a crate, and then there's a chair. Well, each of them will be color designed depending upon the wood or rock or whatever material that you use to make the item. So you can get extremely customized in what you're building, which is really cool. But let me unpause it because I can do all this yakking while they're working. I mean everything, because once you build the stone cutter or the stone mason, you can make chairs out of stone. So if you got a bunch of stone, you can make chairs out of stone instead of using your logs if you've got few logs or something. And yeah, works really good. So what I'm going to do here, since I've got a lot of wood, is I'm going to go back, I'm going to right click on a blank spot on the ground, I'm going to go to build, then go to storage and crate. And the reason I'm going to do this because I have 3 crates right now. Now the first thing I want to do is look in the crates because I can't remember what the crates have in them. Where are the crates at? Should be right around here somewhere, I thought. Crates. Where'd we start at? Oh, there they go. Somebody over here sleeping. I don't know what he's doing. He's protecting the goodies. Now he was going probably, looks like he was going to get food for the yags. Pine crate. It's got strawberries. All right, that one's full of strawberries. That one's full of loaf of wheat bread. And that one is full of some gear and some band-aids, some bandages. Probably some other stuff. No, just some gear and some bandages. Okay, so we can't use them crates right yet. But I can make some as soon as we get the carpentry thing built. So what I'm going to do, so that they don't have to walk forever, is I'm going to designate an area, stockpile, and I'm going to make it 3 long, actually. And you can add to a stockpile too, see, watch. I'm going to go designate area stockpile. And I'm going to make it add, you just see how I clicked it, drug here, and then drug over onto the existing stockpile, and it added the 2 together. So now what I want to do is go to build, storage, crates, and then if I hit build, because those crates are not on a stockpile right now, I can put like that, and now they will be drug over here. They'll pick the whole crate up, everything that's inside of it, carry it over here, and put it down. Actually, I need to set this to hold everything. If I set these to hold everything, now they'll go get the crates. All right, build, storage, bags, and I have 2 bags. So I'll put 2 bags there like that. Everybody's sleeping. That's why they're not being moved. Except for my 4 hard workers right here that are just going at making this stuff, this equipment. Good job, guys. Alright, so anyhow, they'll come and they'll grab these crates and them bags, and they'll carry all that stuff back over here, and I left one open spot just in case there's something else there. And they'll put them down here, and as they eat, that's got their food. There he goes. So he'll have to work for a second. Crates cannot be laid on blank ground. Now you start with them 3 crates on the ground like that, but that's just because that's how the game starts. It starts outside of a stockpile. From this moment on, you can never place a crate on a blank piece of ground. It has to be placed on a stockpile. That's just how they function, how they work. But you can make a 1 square stockpile if you want to, and put a crate on top of it, build a crate on it, and then store specific items in that crate, which is what I do. You can make a big stockpile like you saw if you watched my intro about this game rather, and you would see that I had a big room built, and then I had it set to accept everything, and then I had like 30 or 40 crates on it, like 60 or 70 bags on it, a handful of barrels, and any excess I had to just set the priority to 10. That way anything outside of next to a workstation, they would oh, I think my problem is I need more stone maybe. No, they're working. Chisel for build job. Yeah, there they go, they're working. It's green means that they're working. Something's being done there. Alright, so let's go down some. We need some more stone anyway. So let's set these other guys that are just kind of chilling and hauling stuff to mining. Now, you see that I'm building out a big room here. That's because I can go back at any time and fill this room back in. I can fill in this area. You can cut walls out, put walls back, choose what you want to put back. I mean, it's very nice the way that the game is designed. Very, very well done. So I'm just basically gathering up some stone because I'm going to need a bunch of stone here in a little bit, especially when I start stone carving. Probably should have come in this way or come in like right here. But it don't matter. There's a long little pathway there. It's fine. Now these guys are sleeping. So now we have to wait on them to finish sleeping. But we've got all 3 crates. We got both of our bags. So all of our areas is centralized right here, which is good. And we'll just keep these guys busy. Now you see me using this menu down here. I use this menu a lot for chores. I right click a lot for building stuff. Because I know what all these do. Now this would be a good time for me to go over that. In fact, a lot of people are confused by the building menu, how things function in the building menu as far as terrain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first set my guys to fell these trees. We'll do that. That's what we'll do. We'll clean up this area so that we can that's good. Alright, go. So that we can use some of these abilities. And what we'll do is we'll clean up this area right here and make all this area flat. Now, the way this game works is a lot like Towns, but then also semi-different. Every time I go down, it takes you down 1 full level. That includes the ground, the clump of the ground, whatever it's made out of, that level plus this little tiny top. Every section of block, like as I'm hovering here, is actually 2 pieces. It's the block itself and then a top. Normally, what I started out doing, because I didn't know any better, was I would remove all of the tops, remove all the ramps around the side, and then I would mine out all the blocks. Or you can remove the ramps, mine out all the blocks, and then go back and move all the tops, because tops will float in the air. Let me let them keep working. But I then found out you don't have to do that. That's actually a lot of excess work that you don't need to do. There are 2 better ways to do the same thing. You go to terrain, you go to, what is it? Let's see. Well, the first one is you go to dig and then you go to dig hole. Now, if I dig hole and I put it here, it will remove the top and the bottom, the dirt, out of that hole, and there will just be a hole there. But for what I'm doing, a better way to do it is to go into build. You go into build, you go into terrain, and then you go ramp down. And it's actually not build. I'm sorry, I'm messing up here. I haven't used it forever because I haven't done any terraforming. So you would go to dig ramp down. Now, once they cut these trees out of the way, I'll show you how it works. Come on, cut. I need this one up here. All right, he should come over here and cut it. Come cut it. Now, what ramp down does, digging a ramp down, is basically it digs out that area and makes a ramp. So like if I just select that, as you can see there's already ramps on them. So what it's going to do is it's going to push all of this back one by removing that row, and then there will be ramps coming down off of this edge right here. This edge will have the ramps down. See there? And it just slides it back. But if you do that to an entire area like that, which I need to pick that up. We can let them go though. Alright, so let's go to ag. Let's go to forage. We need to forage those, forage that, forage those. And that's good. Yeah, because we'll just cut it off right about there and bring it all down. All of this. If you set a whole area, basically they try to ramp down the whole area. And basically it ends up flat at the end. All of the area that's marked will end up flat. So you get 1 step instead of 3. Instead of having to remove the top, having to remove the ramp, and having to remove the bottom, you get all 3 of those processes on part of it put down. Now, had I removed the outside only, then the inside would all just be 2 steps. It would be a top and then a bottom, but this works just the same. Plus, you get the added benefit of them always being able to get back up on top because they'll leave a ramp. Like this area didn't get marked. So what happens? Oh, there's nothing I can do, right? No, there's a ramp coming up everywhere, and on this backside, if I turn the view around, there's ramps back here also. So you can always get back up. They can continue working. They won't get stuck. That's one of the problems that this game has, is your guys have a tendency to get stuck on stuff. It's not as bad as it used to be. The pathfinding and the job generation is a lot better than it used to be, but it still does happen. Especially when you're dealing with stuff like removing tops. Because if you remove the top of something, they can't walk on that block unless it has a top on it. So if you go through and mine, you're okay, because they can go back and they can still walk on the tops. But they cannot walk on a square that does not have a top. And a lot of the time you'll end up with blocks that, that are partial, if you're using the terraforming tools improperly. So let's back up. And then what we'll do is we'll do it from about, we could do from about there to here, but what I want to do this time is show you the other way, which is to go to dig and then dig hole. Digging a hole works exactly the same, except it does not leave a ramp. It just digs a hole and he'll move on. The problem with using dig hole on a big area like this is that the AI will try to pathfind properly so that it makes sure that it can always get to a point, but sometimes it'll screw up. That's just the best way to say it and do it, or put it, is that sometimes it will screw up. Now we've got some workstations over here, so let's get them to work. Let's see. I need this guy, I think. Furnace, hearth, knife blade, saw blade. Okay, so we can make a saw blade now. So what is this one? This one is the other stonemason shop, which they're working on. So let's go to build, workshop, wood, and I need a sawmill. Now once we get this sawmill built, which we'll put it over here actually. We'll put our wood, stone, because we're not going to build the other two yet, because I don't plan on making any statues or anything like that. Now this is going to take these guys a little while, because I only have 2 pickaxes. You start the game with 2 pickaxes and then 2 felling axes. You have to have a pickaxe to mine, and you have to have a felling axe to cut trees. You can make more. You just have to get to, you have to get to some ores, some copper, which I'm a ways from doing. I'm just going to let these guys keep working and making these. Notice that they're sleeping quite often. These guys are already sleeping again, and they slept this morning, and now they're sleeping tonight. That is affected by where they're sleeping and their sleeping conditions. If I put beds down, rest will be shorter, and it will last longer. It will put a longer delay before they need to rest again. Same thing with food, feeding them the apples and pears, or apples and oranges, or strawberries, which is a lot of what they're eating right now, and bread. That's really crappy food, so they will eat more often. It's just like the real world. If you eat, crappy food, a couple bites of this, that, and the other, you're going to be hungry again sooner. If you eat nourishing, healthy, big meals, which is going to fill you up, an apple or a sandwich more? Usually a sandwich will fill you up more. That's the way this game works. You can build sandwiches. I mean, the cooking, there's a lot of stuff to cook. I mean, not an extensive amount, but there's, a dozen or so items you can cook. There's a dozen or so items you can drink. You can get a distillery, which we will get really, really shortly. Or really early, rather. Really shortly. We will get shortly. Once I get all this cut out of the way, we can basically build our little setup here, because I want to get some strawberry fields going and some other stuff. I don't really need a grove yet because we have plenty of trees surrounding us to cut down when we need lumber, but sooner or later you will want to enclose your area and put a grove in there so that you can cut it down. And all a grove does is give you just like this pasture, except for trees. You tell it what type of tree, your guys will go around and get cuttings off of the trees, or the orange trees or the apple trees, and they'll come back and they'll plant those cuttings, and you can choose, you can right click it and tell them what you want them to do with it, which I'll show you that when we get to that point. This episode's basically going to be mostly terraforming, just getting this basic setup area ready to go. Now, there are a lot of things that I could do with less explanation that would be accomplishing what I'm doing right now faster. But that is the really cool thing about this game, is that I'm on the 3rd day. I've got 9 more days before I have to have all this, my area encased. Now, I do not use the entire wall in. You can wall yourself in, become completely self-sufficient inside that walled in area, and you never have to fight anything. But I don't do that. I like to wall in, but always with an entrance. I never block my entrance. I consider that a form of cheating. I don't even know why they allowed that. They should be able to bust through walls. And hopefully at one point or another they will enable that. That way the people that are using those techniques, you know, they get bit in the butt for doing so. I like the combat of the game. I guess maybe that's why they haven't. It's because there are people out there that don't like the combat, maybe. But what else? What's the other reason? What's the other reason to play in the game? I mean, that's the whole purpose behind everything, is building a military, digging down, finding ores so that you can build a stronger military, gear them better to fight the things that are steadily becoming stronger. Now, and that's what it's all about, basically. I mean, you know, to put it as bluntly as possible, is the whole design behind it is to make it to where you progressively get stronger and stronger, but the monsters also do. So, you know, and that's what happens. At least with me in my game, they progressively get more and more monsters come. They get stronger. They have better stats. Not nowhere near the stats that you have, but they gear them up, you know, to where you have to attack them 2, 3, you know, gnomes at a time. Initially starting off, you'll have to use, you know, all of your gnomes whenever you get attacked, as you'll see in this playthrough. First couple times we start getting attacked, we will have to use all gnomes available. And I will put them all in military squads and stuff like that until we get up to about, I guess it was, I think I had 25 gnomes, of which 10. So once I got to about 15 gnomes, I had enough to successfully, actually it was about 13, 12, I'm thinking now, 13, 12, 11 gnomes. And then I set another one as artesian. I set another one as a miner. No, I didn't. I changed that. But I had about 12 or 13 guys before I even started building my military. And then what I did was every guy that came in thereafter, I set the military until I got to 25 people. I wanted a 10-man, you know, military. But you can do really, really well early on with, you know, 2 or 3 guys as your military. And you don't need it off the bat, because the first handful of guys that'll come in will be unarmed and unarmored goblins. So you have to just be careful. Which brings in the emphasis of having your gate, everything walled in except for the one entry. You know, you want that one entry so that, oops, I paused it, so that you can get combat skill. They still have to learn how to fight, because they're going to be your soldiers later. Or at least, you know, maybe a couple of them might be. I don't know. I mean, I generally look through my guys, but usually the way it works for me is that when I get to about 13 or so people, 14, 12, somewhere around in there, when my economy is working properly, and it's not really hurting for anything, I start putting people into combat and have them guard the door. Once that happens, I tend to use these guys until I have at least 4 guys guarding the door. These guys, I set them to help, but they don't watch the door. I mean, your guards, your knights, your soldiers or whatever, they train in training grounds at the entry, and that's all that they do. They eat, they sleep, they poop, which they don't really poop in this game, but you get my point. Eat, sleep, and shit, and that's it. Train. You know, they're typical standard soldiers. These guys will continue working. Now, when they're not in the training, you can have them set as soldiers, and if they're not set to a training or to a patrol route or whatnot, they will do the chores that their job, you know, had them assigned to do. But I can tell you now, I'm in the 4th year on my other game, and I cannot think of a single second that my soldiers were not training. I mean, that's all that they do. You set them to training, and you set them, you know, a couple, maybe if you want to patrol routes, which is really unnecessary in this game, the way that I'm playing. Now, if you were to have multiple entrances, you might have a few patrolling from one side to another and from the other side back, you know, stuff like that. But it's too easy to build a fortification with only one entrance and, you know, and prosper, which is totally what I'm going to do here. These guys are just, you know, look at this. It's taken them 2 days, and they're still only about halfway done. But this is another thing. Now, if I look, this guy, when you click on somebody, you get a click of everything that's going on under it. There's 3 dirt clumps, Trisselef Prospector, and he's digging, she's got a little ponytail. She's digging a hole. So I can click on her, which will bring up her personal information. I can rename her. So yeah, the first 15 or so people that leave a comment and say I would like to be named in your game, they will get a name on one of these characters. And it's the first, not the, you know, not if you're the 16th person and I only have 15 guys, I'm sorry. As soon as we get another person, we will put it in there. Just know this, that if the game goes a ways, I will end up with about 50 or 60 gnomes, and I seriously doubt 50 or 60 people are going to comment on this and say that they want a character in my game. But we will see, we will see, we will see. But it will also show you all the information. Anyway, back to this. You get their name, the kingdom, which is the damned land, joined, first day of spring, you get the race, gender, health, what they're doing, what their profession is, that she's a prospector, her status, she's digging a hole. Now I can click any of these buttons and it will take me to that part. I can go to her health, she's in good health. I can look at her equipment, she's got a copper pickaxe in her hand and nothing else because I have nothing else. Her skills, now this is where it gets in there. Right now, what she's doing, digging the ground, is considered mining. Her mining is at 28 now. Nobody had 28 mining when we started. That's why she's digging slow. Everybody else is digging slow too. This guy is actually trapped inside because he's a moron. He dug the hole out from underneath him, ground out from underneath him, and now he's stuck in there. So he's going to be stuck in there until either A, I direct somebody to let him out, or B, until, you know, somebody actually lets him out. And I'm just going to let him sit there for a few seconds, just teach him a lesson. But this is where I got at the whole, the AI screws up. Now what I can do is I can go to down here, because I like to do this. I can go to terrain, mine, hole, and I can set it to mine them too, and he'll dig himself out. Now he'll get back up on top. Now they've always got a way out. And then I'll just have to go remove them tops, which I need to actually do now. Alright, you can hit F and it'll flatten the ground. I just wanted to see which ones, it's this one and this one. Alright, so let's go back. Let's remove floor, even though it's really a top. And then now what somebody will do, somebody will go in and they'll remove just that floor. Or you can go to cancel if you want to be sure that you got the remove floor on that. You go to terrain, and these are the special commands under just terrain. Lets you replace walls with another type of wall, replace floors with another type of wall. You can remove ramps, and you can remove floors. Now I need to remove those 2 floors. There we go. Let's zoom back out. Let's let them keep going. Alright, why are we not getting this? Now this is another thing you can do. This isn't build, task build stone cutter, because I need a chisel. So why do I not have a chisel? Let's go to stocks. Am I out of stone? Let's go to items, stone. I've got 79 raw stone, 0 chisels. Oh, I bet you I know what happened. I bet you they sent the chisel to this. Chisel for build job, right there. Alright, so somebody come do this chisel.